I thank God for my wife. She's actually a strong woman. I remember the first day I talked to her about my sickle cell condition, and her first response was, "It is not a death sentence."
Let's leave volleyball to talk about sickle cell.
There were times of serious challenges. I remember there was a time I had 7.5% PCV. When I was growing up, there was nothing like sickle cell in the community. As a child, they just know that eléyìí kò kí ń pẹ́ sick. Ó tún ti sick, wọ́n tún ti admit ẹ̀, Ọlọ́run tẹ̀ ló mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe, àbábíkú tiẹ̀ ni. Oh, before you know what is going on, the mindset of our people then is àbíkú, ara ọmọ yẹn ò dá pé. Very few people, very few have the knowledge of sickle cell anemia. Majority in the community then. In fact, when I was in primary school, I don't think there was anything like that awareness until when I got to secondary school. And I say, sickler, that was the major language they were using. Once they see anybody that today you are sick, tomorrow you are admitted, sickler lomo yen, sickler lomo yen. That's what you hear. But the awareness was not there at my primary school level. But secondary school level, the awareness was already coming up. So they used to call people sickler. They say it's a sickler, she's a sickler.
Sometimes I wonder why when I'm having crisis and I'm in pain and I'm crying out to God, I just wonder why God just watches it happen, even if I'm crying and begging Him to make it stop.
Sickle cell has shaped every aspect of my life. So when it comes to relationship, I realize that some people will want to stay, some people want to leave. The people that want to leave is because they cannot see me go to the hospital, they cannot see me in pain. But the ones that are staying, I really still love them. They are so dear to me. There are some people that know my health status and they are still there for me. They can't leave me because they know my health status. But the ones that have left, I don't blame them. They left because they can't stay with me, because whenever I'm sick or whenever I'm ill rather, it's not a nice place to be. It's not a nice sight, because I don't have hope at that time. It seems like I just want to just give up.
Have I heard of sickle cell before? Yes, from the movie Supercell. And also that is a medical condition that affects a selective group of people.
People living with sickle cell, I think they are extremely brave. I mean, there are a lot of things being said about them that are like very scary. You understand? Being told that they could die before a certain age, or being told that death is at their front door.
The interesting thing of working with SCAF, that Sickle Cell Awareness and Health Foundation, was that it exposed me to learning a bit more about sickle cell, advocating for sickle cell. And that was when a relative opened up and told me that my niece had sickle cell. And that made it a lot more real, and it helped me realize that this work I had been drawn to was more than I even imagined. So for family to not have been able to say it, and only eventually said it when they saw I was speaking about this condition, began to show me the kind of stigma that was attached to it, and really made me continue to push and then work in sickle cell.
Hello, my name is Joyce Sunny. I'm a UI UX designer. I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm a sickle cell warrior. Actually, I was diagnosed as a baby. My parents realized I was crying a lot and often, and my eyes were turning yellow. I was having jaundice. And so the doctor suspected and advised them to run a genotype test, which they did. And ever since then, there was no moment where I was sat down to say, to be told, oh, you have sickle cell. It was just the series of events that kept happening in my life. I knew I was different from every other person. Whenever I played with my friends or stayed out in the rain, I would start having chest pain, back pain. And it was really tough growing up. I was missing school a lot, being in the hospital. My parents would be by my side, crying whenever I'm in pain, and also crying as well. I was taken from one church to another to be prayed for, taken from one hospital to another, and at that point I knew that I was battling something.
Ideally, I never knew I was not supposed to go beyond 28 weeks pregnancy. But up to 28 weeks, I was so strong. I was like nothing was with me. I was just bouncing up and down. I never knew days ahead will be so tough. By the time I got to 32, 33 weeks, I couldn't bear it again. I was in the intensive care. It went on. As at that time, I was like, it is well. If anything happens, fine. I just told myself, if the baby comes out, they bring out the baby, I have lived. God allowed the baby to live.
Hello, my name is Ibitoye Esther Olamide. I'm from Ekiti State. I'm a graduate of Afe Berlin University. I study medical laboratory science. Though at the beginning, I wanted to be a doctor, but jam and all of that. I'm a sickle cell warrior. I'm presently 28, so I've been living with it for 28 years. One thing I wished people my age knew about sickle cell is that sickle cell is not just pain. Sickle cell is
beyond pain crisis. Sickle cell is all the opportunities that people who live with it get to lose because they live with sickle cell. It's the inability to maybe go to work, to be at school, to do the things you love to do just because you can't do it. And more often than not, people begin to think you're making excuses. So sickle cell is not pain crisis. It's every single thing that the people who live with it are unable to hold on to and grasp, and the amount of work and effort they have to put into everything they do. So it's beyond just health, it's life.
2016, when I had a surgery in Lut. The surgery lasted for 8 hours, because I remembered I was taken to the theater 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was brought out of the theater 12 midnight. I remember it was a crazy experience for me, because after the surgery, I was told not to drink water for 1 week and not to eat. And it was 2 patients, me and one other patient. His name is Kuli, of a blessed memory, because we were told not to drink water, but he actually went ahead to take water in the midnight, and the whole thing got complicated and he died. It was a bad experience for me.
Everything you live, like sickle cell takes over your life. Like sickle cell is everything you live for. You live for sickle cell, because sickle cell, when living with sickle cell, you have to avoid stress, you have to avoid a lot of things. Or now living with sickle cell, I have to be drinking water at every point in my life. I have to be using drugs every day. There are routine drugs I take. Like I take these drugs every day of my life. Every single day. And if there's a day I miss it, my body tells me that something is wrong. So growing up, I realized that it's very hard taking drugs. It's very, very hard taking drugs. Normally taking drugs is hard. Now taking drugs every day of your life. Taking these drugs every day. There was a week I told myself I'm not going to take this drug. The next week came and it showed on my body that I didn't take my drug. My colleagues were asking me at work, Esther, what's wrong with you? Are you sure you're fine? What's really the problem? Why are you like this? I say I'm fine. Meanwhile, within myself, I know that I'm not fine. I did not take my drug. Then that week, I continued taking my drug. But there are days that you just want to not take anything. It's possible for you not just want to take anything. That week, I didn't just feel like doing anything, taking the drug, because I was tired. Why would I be swallowing drugs every day? But it got to a point where I told myself, Esther, you have to take this drug. You really, 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 really have to take this drug. So sickle cell is not just pain. It takes every part, both psychologically, emotionally, and every part, even relationship-wise. It takes every part of your life.
So we were attending a church at the time that used to hold vigils like every month. During the vigils, the preacher would say, okay, so we are going to have like a praise session, and for 15 minutes you are going to dance vigorously, dance like David danced. And then after 15 minutes, check your body, things that were in your body, if it's no longer there, come to the altar and share your testimony. So that kept happening, and people would come out, share their testimony. They had goiter, the goiter would lessen, and instant miracles like that, they were coming out to share their testimonies. There was one particular vigil, I said, okay, today I'm going to receive my healing. There was no way to do like an instant genotype test, but I had like a growth on my back, and I said, okay, if this growth should just disappear, then I believe I'll be made totally whole as well. Even my sickle cell would have been gone, and after 15 minutes, I would go to share my testimony at the altar. So when the praise session started, they said dance like David danced. I was dancing rigorously. And obviously, everyone knows that stress triggers crisis, sickle cell crisis. So when you are engaging in so much physical stress, you are doing so much to your body, you are going to end up with pain instantly. So I kept dancing. Like 7 minutes into dancing, instead of receiving my healing, what started was crisis. I was having chest pain, back pain, knee pain, everywhere was just paining me right in church. So at that point, I was really heartbroken. I was sad that, okay, so I came here to ask God for healing. I danced all of this dance, and then instead of receiving my healing, I ended up with a crisis. So at that point, I knew that So at that point, I knew that I needed to accept it as my new reality, and I needed to just either face it as being part of my life and just live with it. That was when I knew that I was always going to be different from other people.
The other time that was terrible for me was 2010, May 2010. It was heavy on me. That one, I had a baby. My second baby was 3 months old. I was practically telling my husband, please take care of baby. Take care of the brother, take care of the baby. And I was begging my husband on sick bed, please don't marry on time. Don't quickly marry on time. Let these children at least be able to stand on their feet before one woman will come and be slapping them left and right because me, I'm already going. My husband will say, no, you are not going though. We are taking care of them together. I said, no. At this stage, it's good I go because I know that's May 2010 was terrible. Life was leaving me like this, and to now worsen the situation in the hospital bed where I was, patients were dying like this. We would sleep together before you would turn like this. This one is packed up. Emergency in loot. Before you turn like this, that one is, you just see us, they will just come, cover. I say, to, it's like this one, this one that is now, and I was there. But one thing is certain, one thing that I can say that is certain is that God has been on the journey with me. It has always been God in the journey with me. It has always been God. Even when the crisis will come seriously, it has always been God.
I still believe in miracles, but I believe that miracles come in different forms. It doesn't have to be like an instant magic. It can be that maybe God would use someone to give you the money to go for a bone marrow transplant. Or it could be that God would give scientists the knowledge and understanding of how to come up with cures for sickle cell. Or it could also be like, just having the opportunity to live a better lifestyle. For me, one of the miracles was in the last 2 or 3 years, I found a hematologist. The hematologist is a doctor that specializes in sickle cell. The particular one I was introduced to was really good. The moment I was taken to him, he reviewed all of my medications. He looked at all of the dosages, the things I was doing wrong, and then he adjusted everything. The ones that needed to be increased, he increased them. And ever since then, throughout last year, for instance, I wasn't hospitalized. I could have mild crisis, mild pain, but it wasn't as severe as something that would make me to be hospitalized for days or weeks on end. I could go to the hospital for treatments, but I wasn't hospitalized throughout last year, and I'm grateful for that. So that could be also a form of miracle for other people as well.
If I wasn't AA and I found out that the person I love so much is not compatible with me, there are ways we can maneuver it, because I think if we've discussed marriage and if we've discussed having children, right, and then maybe I now eventually found out her genotype to be AS as well, there are ways we can go about it. Adoption is an option, you understand? I mean, if you really love the person and you want to have children with the person, adoption is an option. You don't necessarily have to create a child with the risk of having a child with SS.
So for this part now, I think, why not? Don't you think it's better to avoid the risk than to think you avoid? You can have sex one day and then it turns out that she's pregnant.
It's better to avoid, but can you really avoid someone that you really love? I mean, love is a very powerful thing, to be honest. I don't think if you love someone so much, you can just easily avoid them because of something like genotype. I know genotype is a very important topic, but I think love too is an extremely important topic. So yeah, avoiding just for the sole purpose of not making the mistake of creating a child with SS is...
I know this is a very controversial conversation, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think love is as
deep as that,
deep
right?
as genotype.
Hey, that one go far, because they are supposed to, apart from putting themselves first, they're supposed to think about their children. Because if both of them should actually end up together, they are being self-centered and they are because if they later give birth, the child will be the one to be suffering all the nonsense that their parents did. It is well, child. That's what I have to say. But I just feel like they should consider their children and the future of their children, and even the future of themselves. Because if the children are not okay, the parents cannot be okay too now. Imagine SS screaming, shouting, in pains, in crisis. They also suffer it. So maybe they should just find another partner, I beg.
Do I think love is enough for someone who is AS and they're thinking of getting married? Well, I'll say love, I don't think love is ever enough, because, well, what am I saying? Honestly, it depends on the exact situation, because you know the kind of road ahead for you, because there's an eventuality or possibility that one of your children might be sickle cell. So it's just like, are you fully understanding the situation that you're about to put yourself and your unborn child in? So if it's a task that you feel like you are capable for and you're ready to handle it, and some of you believe you are in love enough, you love each other enough to be able to persevere for that situation, all well and good. But from a practical standpoint, it's a difficult situation to be in. It's a difficult position to be in. So I feel like it's completely dependent on the two people involved to do that. But personally, I won't advise to be in that kind of situation. There are plenty of fish in the sea.
I see it as a big problem. One, you are going to be bringing children who are potentially going to be sicklers. It's not something I would want to give my children. I want them to be able to have a full life, to do things that they would like to do, to have fun, and you are depriving them of that opportunity when 2 AS people get married. Now I know that genetics has come far and there are some CRISPR that they are doing, but for now I'm not really for it.
One thing I don't like, and I'm fighting it too. I will not stop fighting it. On Facebook I will fight it. On WhatsApp I will fight it. Instagram you will see my hand until my voice is heard. Foundation, I have told one of our nurses there, I don't want to be seen. Please celebrate my warrior. My warrior is 2 years old today. Hey, mommy, celebrate my warrior. We have a platform for sickle cell patients. We have WhatsApp group. We have many platforms on Facebook. And they will come and post. My warrior is 8 years old. Kilo day. She love noni. Is it love? That we will now consider only you and that man at that particular time. I love my husband. We cannot do without ourselves. I love this guy. He proposed to me. And you know the guy is AS. You are also AS. She ain't coming one Benny. At the end of the day, you will bring in another child to this world who will now be SS. You will be enjoying your life. You'll be enjoying your health. That child will be in pain from 0 to any age that God permits. Hey Joe, please. Sickle cell awareness is more than 10 years. It's more than 15 years, more than 20 years in Nigeria. If I see 15-year-old boy or old girl who is sickle cell, and but when I see 10 years, I see 8 years, what comes to my mind is how to look for the daddy and mommy. Kin wife 40 to da, kin fun, because it's not good. I don't like celebrating 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years warrior. It's not good. Mommies, aunties, brothers, please check your genotype. Know your genotype because of another person you want to bring to this world. Warriors should not go ahead and say, we love ourselves. In fact, no man has ever treated me like this. He's the only one and it's SS and I am AS. Ogun Eshuni. Love is not enough. It will never be enough. If you fall now, you fall in love now. When you now enter marriage, God now help you. That love, it's not God helping you now because God has given you brain so that you can give him rest. That love that allow you to go and marry sickle cell versus sickle cell, the love will now open eye. In courtship, it's taking you to Mr. Biggs, to Tantalizer, to Chicken Republic. You are taking you out, traveling up and down. I love him, I love her. It's my choice. It's my spec. Inside marriage, that spec, you will not see it again because it will be fight. Today, the child is in hospital. You are in the hospital. You, that you go and marry, you SS that marry AS. Now, love now give you SS child. Your wife is sick. Your baby is sick. You'll be, you'll be confessing as if you have committed sin.
What do I think about people who have children that have sickle cell, not out of ignorance, but because they were raped? Well, I would say it's an unfortunate scenario, you know, being for the entire family, the mother being in that horrible position, you know, to now raise a child with that kind of complex medical condition. But I just feel like, you know, if love covers an abundance of different situations, so if a person is genuine in their actions and you say that, okay, you want to take care of the child, to be able to raise your child, you know, with that condition, fine, all well and good. But, you know, if it's the other situation, I feel like that's still entirely up to you. They will need a lot of counseling and education because that's a very specific type of situation. So they will need a lot of counseling to be able to understand the kind of things at play to be able to cope with that kind of situation. Then just a lot of support from their family members. And, you know, if there is a stimulus that the government can provide as well, because I know it's quite expensive to be able to take care of yourself with sickle cell. So if those things can be provided, I feel like the family should be able to do okay.
Instance of rape, and the mother decided to carry the child to full term. I hold nothing against the mother or the child. It's a very, very unfortunate circumstance. It can happen to anybody. For the mother to even say she wants to take care of the child, it shows that she has a lot of power and she's ready to move on. Unfortunately, that child is going to be with this sickness, but it's the same instance with children who are born with HIV, children who have different illnesses that they were born with. They didn't choose it, but I believe that is something that they become used to over time.
I went to a boarding school and my parents didn't tell me the information about myself before I got to school. They told the school that this is this kind of person she is, and when I got sick, the school couldn't take care of me again. The health bay couldn't take care of me again. I had to be referred to a hospital outside school. So when I got to the hospital outside school, they did the normal thing, taking care of me, giving me my IV injection, IV fluid and all of that. At a point, the doctor now said he wants to do genotype test. So he did it, and then he discovered that I was sickle cell. Then it was the doctor that now later came to tell me that, do you know your health status and all of that? I said, I didn't know, but I know I was always falling sick. He now told me that I'm a sickle cell. The first thing I did was to hold the doctor's tie, because that day was wearing tie. Normal Nigerian movies, you hold the doctor's tie when you hear a bad news that you've never heard before. So that's what happened to me. I held the doctor's tie and I was struggling with the doctor that day. That doctor, my parents have not told me this. Why will you tell me this? So he said, just calm down. You'll be fine. Don't worry. So that's where I heard that I was a sickle cell warrior. I think I was about 12, 13 or 14 at that time when I knew. And I had this mindset when I was much younger that sickle cell, they die when they are 20 years or thereabouts. So already counting my years to live. It was so painful when I now got to 20 years and I discovered that I'm still alive. I've lived for a very long time, and that's how I have been living my life.
I am currently 31 years. I see people saying, sickle cell patients, they die young, don't marry them, they can die any time, blah, blah, blah. But I always say this, with God, all things are possible. So part of my goal in life is to stay healthy and stay over 70 years as a sickle cell patient. Like that man is a sickle cell and he's over 70 and he's still agile and he's still strong. That's part of my goal in life.
People with sickle cell didn't choose this life, and whenever they are having interactions and conversations, they need to have empathy and emotional intelligence. So calling people sickler can be an offensive word for people with sickle cell. And the fact that someone looks a certain way doesn't mean that they have sickle cell, or the fact that they look a certain way means they have sickle cell. Sickle cell doesn't have a look. You can be slim and not have sickle cell. You can have a thick body and have sickle cell, and no one will know.
I talk to my younger self every now and then. Sometimes when the thing will hook me like this, I will say, why did you come? Why did you come? Sometimes I have been in some challenges that I will ask myself, why did you come? Don't forget, our life is in the hand of God. Even those who are not sickle cell, everybody's life is in the hand of God. You may think that because you are a sickle cell patient, then they used to say by 19 they will die, by 21 they will die. Your life is not determined by anybody. God owns everybody's life. And because God owns everybody's life, we should know that either you are sickle cell, you are not sickle cell, you are high blood pressure patient, you are diabetic patient, take your drugs, follow instructions, and then take good care of yourself. Leave everything to the hand of God and avoid self-medication.
So in balancing clinical care and emotional support for patients, it's something very critical, especially for people living with sickle cell. It's really critical to balance clinical care and patient support, because for people living with sickle cell, like I said, it's beyond health. It goes far deeper into the daily lives of these people. So it now means that everything cannot revolve only around just the side of you're talking about medicines, you're talking about transfusions, or you're talking about everything this person needs to survive. But you're looking at it from the holistic point of view, where healthcare is more around how a person feels in their heart, in their body, and in their mind. So typically, when we're looking at care for people living with sickle cell, it goes beyond just access to drugs, access to medicines, access to testing. It also goes down into access to emotional support down to the side of psychosocial support from family, from friends, from everyone they have around them, and even down to the side of clinical mental support that helps to keep them grounded. So I think for people living with sickle cell, it has to be holistic. And this is going to, and this is me speaking to healthcare professionals, especially. So we have to humanize and think beyond just everything we think we know about healthcare in general, and know that people living with sickle cell are real people that need real care beyond everything we give.
Sickle cell is now, with the invention of science and technology, there are drugs, treatment plans and all of that can work. I believe there should be, that can work to make you live a healthy lifestyle. Because even the so-called uncurable disease, HIV and AIDS, I think there are now ways to actually manage them and still live an healthy and good lifestyle. So I think the same should go for sickle cell. There should be drugs and medical plans that will make people live long and have an healthy lifestyle.
I'll tell my younger me to be strong. Don't think about it too much, because the moment you start thinking about it is the moment you start feeling low.
But there are some times I will say, when such time comes, let's be realistic. I will say some negative things, say, why now? But I take solace in the word of God. I take solace in the fact that God cares for me. And I will tell my younger self, God is still there. He that has kept you thus far is also faithful to keep you more, to keep you for many more years.
As I'm a Christian, for whatever condition or situation that you're put in, there is nothing that is beyond you. God understands what you're going through, so you can always look to Him for support in whatever situation that it is.
You are strong, we see you, and don't for a second think that your life is not worth more than my life. You have every right to life as I do.
Continue being brave, because it's not easy to live with such, and with all the stigma that goes around with sickle cell patients and people. It's not an easy task to live with, to be honest. So I just want to encourage them to continue being brave, prayerful, and yeah, God's grace will be with them.
For us at SCAF, what we say and what we live by is we're trying to bridge the knowledge gap in sickle cell with love and care. And I think it sums what I would say to anybody. So one for everyone out there is genuinely love people and genuinely give love as a first thing. And for everybody out there living with sickle cell, this is something I always say. I love someone living with sickle cell, and I love you, and we're in this together now and always. And if there's any opportunity to do something to make the lives of any person better, I know that's something people living with sickle cell always push for. You're there, and I'm there with you.
I would say to every warrior, I want to speak your heart not at someone watching from the outside, but as one of you, a fellow warrior who knows the silent battles, the hidden strength, and the unspoken courage it takes to keep going. We are more than a diagnosis. We are resilient in human form. Every pain we've endured, every night we've spent fighting for our breath, and every day we've walked with a smile despite the struggle. They all testify to our unmatched strength. There are days when our body feels heavy with pain and the world seems too far to reach. But hear this is not the end of the world. In fact, our lives are filled with meaning, purpose, and light. We are living proof that adversity does not define us. How we rise does. To every warrior out there, you are seen, you are valued, you are strong, you are beautiful in your fight. Let your journey be a beacon of hope to others. Let your scar tell stories of survival and not of sorrow. Keep showing up, keep believing, and keep loving yourself through the highs and lows. And if today is a tough day, remember, even the fiercest storm pass, and after that, the sun always rises. With love and pride, Joshua, a fellow warrior of Sickle Cell. Thank you.